Good. What's this hat?
Green light, baby.
Okay.
Can you just speak for a second about the toughness of Landon and Cam?
Yeah, so they've been banged up and beat up. I think for normal humans, if you're missing something or something's broke, they have a hard time walking, but they're guys that are able to go out there and play. But it's like with anything, they're so strong and, freakish at what they do that they're able to kind of compensate if they do have any ailment. And so, but Landon's, I think even in college, he's played with torn, I think MCL, meniscus tear. I mean, he's not going down. Yeah.
So talking about the Chiefs defensively, how do you prepare for Spags' defense with all the blitz, all the kind of, pre-snap movement, disguise, and things like that? Like, how do you get ready for that?
Yeah. There are some tell signs, but I feel like they do a good job of really disguising it. They do everything, and they make it look vanilla. They make it all look the same. So, but for us, if there's any change in alignments or anything, that can help. But they're really good tacklers. I mean, they don't miss. They do a good job of, I feel like they're keys. They're quick. So if you're not right on your points or any of that, there's guys getting tackled in the backfield. And so that's really what it does. They do a good job of moving on a chain sometimes and making it difficult for the center.
So you talked about Chris Jones a little bit. I love him as a rusher. Historically, 3 technique, but he moves the outside and he lines up a tight 5 technique. Does that make you uncomfortable as a tackle when you have a bigger body who's used to rushing inside, kind of in those tight alignments?
Yeah, he's one of the few guys that could do it. I'm surprised they didn't put Aaron Donald out there more because I think he would have had, the same success, if not more. But, JJ did it earlier in his career. He was more inside, but started doing a little bit of both. Chris is just so long. He's 6'5", 6'6", super long. And yeah, he does get, I think, very tight to tackles. He wants them to jump them, and he's very good with his hands. And he's a very savvy player that knows how to set people up.
Does that change your set point a little bit when you have a guy who's like bigger body, inside guy, line up tight on?
Yeah, I mean, he's very good with his hands, so there's some times when to be patient and really wait for him. He does a good job of grabbing your wrist, and he's aiming for that. And, if you try to jump set him, he does a good job of getting real skinny and not giving you any surface area to hit and bending the edge. So, but he does a good job of setting guys up.
Good man, baby.
Jordan told us a story about Saquon promising you guys Rolexes, and then a few months later when he got the rushing record, actually going through and buying them. And Jordan was like, I forgot he promised us that. But can you speak to the kind of man that Saquon is and why it feels like this offensive line wants to play and play for him on some level?
Yeah, I just think the main aspect is, he's human. He's down to earth. He feels very egoless around us, even though he is the player that he is. So, I think that's what that drives us. It definitely helps. He's a great teammate off the field. But when you have somebody with that type of ability, I think it elevates everybody and pushes them to, to play better and play harder, and knowing that you have a guy that can do those types of things back there.
You a little bit about Cam and Landon, but I was thinking about them arguing on the sidelines about who's less injured. Yeah. What does that say about those two guys in that NFC Championship moment, that they want to be the one out there and they're willing to fight there so much?
Yeah, getting to this point, sometimes you got to pay the price. I've paid. There's been a lot of guys pay, and but no, I mean, they're tough. I mean, that's a big reason why they're here. I think we do a good job of drafting players that have, been through adversity, or, so they kind of have an idea of what's going to happen at this level. Landon's had a bunch of them in college, and here he is. I mean, he's so big and athletic. I think he's able to compensate through some of those, and just like Cam, they can play through it.
Yeah, 21-game season for you guys. That's a lot.
It's fun. Good thing they're reducing to 18.
If you were a UFC fighter, what would your walkout song be?
I'd probably ask for the Halo song like Mike Perry, and then they play Beyonce. You remember that?
I do. I remember.
Mike Perry.
Yeah, in the Apex. Was it in the Apex? That was a while.
And then he started singing it.
rolled with the punches.
Yeah, he did, man.
And also, too, what advice do you have for high school and maybe college athletes who are looking to not only get better, but like, what about their bulking routine? You know, you always hear about the bulking routine. What was your bulking routine like?
Well, we got like 1,300 calorie shakes by Steph, our nutritionist. So you do that in meals, and whenever you get to college, if you don't make your weight, you get punished. And when you get to the NFL, you get punished even more. It's like 800 a pound that you're over or under. So, yeah.
$800 a pound in the NFL?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. What about college? How'd you get punished then?
If you're underweight, they'd make you stay there until you achieved your weight. And if you're overweight, they would run you until you lost all that weight and you were in weight.
To do that?
I've had to chug shakes before because I was under. I was hardly ever over. I was never over. But under, yes. I've had to sit there, be 6 pounds under, and chug 6 pounds of protein shakes.
No more of that then, I assume.
No more. Yeah, I mean, it's easier when you get 34. I mean, it all slows down. Your metabolism slows down. So it's a new reality now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lane, first of all, you must be like a dentist's best friend. How does someone get Lane Johnson teeth?
Veneers. They're in Manhattan, so.
Oh man.
No,
Hollywood smile, man.
Yeah, well, I never wore a mouthpiece, and so over the years I chipped my front teeth pretty good, grinding them or biting in the game. So after a couple of chipped teeth, I had to get some new ones, and so they hooked me up good, man.
They did. So obviously you guys are the beefiest line, but also the most personable, I think, in the league. I asked Jordan this thing too. After football, where does he see you guys on this current team excelling in life? He said you were to be the biggest star, and you'd be either a star podcast host or a wrestler. What do you think about what?
I would definitely want to be more podcasting than, in another lifetime, the wrestling would have worked out. Would have been another dream, but. Yeah, definitely. I could lay low and be a funny man on the mic, say some funny stuff. But
do you think anyone else on the line here has the potential to be a star, in another field?
Landon DIY doing all the home improvement stuff. That's all he does. I mean, he's fixing cars, trucks, HVACs, any of that type of stuff. He knows, and he knows well.
Won't ask him that.
Go ask him.
Hey, thanks.
Teams run a lot of exotic blitzes and stuff, so how do you guys stay prepared for whatever they're going to throw at you?
Yeah, they do a good job of making everything look very similar and not giving away any signs, but there are some signs, and, for us, they do a good job of, I think disguising their stuff to the last minute. So the last game they were waiting until we turned around to kind of adjust and do last-minute adjustments to try to throw off your call. So they'll bring those exotics and try to mess up the center's protection point so they get a free, guy off the edge or through the middle. That's why they're doing that, and it is hard, especially when they do it that late and are able to, still keep it on and everybody on the same page.
Clayton, obviously this is the third time you've been in the Super Bowl. What toll does it take on a team, or maybe even on an individual player, like getting there, whether you win or lose, and then trying to climb that mountain again? You know what I mean? I mean, you guys are here for the second time in 3 years. This is their third year in a row.
Yeah.
Like, what is that demand of a player and a team to keep climbing that mountain year after year after year?
It goes down to what type of character guys are you drafting? Are you drafting guys that care about money, or are you drafting guys that really love football? So, all that stuff comes along with it. There's a reason these guys have been here. They're excellent both sides of the ball. They don't make many mistakes. They, any turnovers they get, they capitalize on. And so for us, I thought we had some moments where we played well offensively last year, but we didn't finish the job. So for us, being in this position again and having the opportunity to play this team again is awesome. But at the same time, we need to focus in and understand that, blocking and tackling and all that and protecting the ball, that's what wins the games, and we got to improve on this time around.
Last one, and then we're done.
Yeah, the way last year ended, like that kind of thing can like really splinter a team. It could, fracture, permanently like fracture. Why did this group, was able to come back together
well, it's an extreme motivator whenever you might start a season like that and the way it finishes. So, for us, it was about where do we go from here? What adjustments can we make? Look, we did a great job, obviously, getting people like Saquon, which it helps. The draft, getting players that are able to play well right away. All those factors have helped in. Yeah, him. Yeah, he's not playing special teams anymore. He's playing linebacker.
You got to the Super Bowl in spite of guys like Zach Bond.
Yeah. So turns out he can play more in special teams.
A lot of it, I think I got to treatment yesterday at 7 o'clock, and the next time I went to my room was 9:30 at night when I finished my massage. So, it's no different. We're working, treat it like a normal work week. You go to meetings, you go to practice, you do this, and you make sure your body's right. And I don't think it's been too bad. We got a lot of stuff set up in the hotel to make it feel like our facility. And I've had a fun time hanging out, getting food with a lot of the guys, things like that.
This time of year, do you ever feel like the psychological pressure in this game, especially in the league, is sometimes greater than the physical ones you get?
Nah, I've been playing this game since I was a kid. Obviously it's a bigger stage now, but I truly just love the game of football. I love playing it, I try not to think too much about the bad things that can happen. I try to visualize success, and every time I step on that field, no matter what happens, I know our Lord and Savior loves me whether I play good or bad. So you try not to worry about that pressure too much.
How much during this week do you think about the people that helped you get to this stage?
You go there and back. I'll probably look back on my career and do a little bit more of that, but I just try to stay in the moment. I try to get better each and every day, and I just try to do whatever I can to help this team win games.
You talk about staying in the moment. How do you balance, enjoying Super Bowl week, but then also, locking in for the game and getting that business?
Yeah, I try to keep this as similar as I can, to a normal week, because if whatever success we were able to have in the regular season is what's brought us to this position now, and I try to keep my routine the same. Obviously you enjoy it when you first get here. You enjoy it by the last week a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. I'll let my family enjoy it, but it's a business trip for us.
And Dallas, you've been through this before. The last week of the season, last team meeting, last media session, the chance to talk to us. I know you guys are excited about that, but when does it hit you that the way this team stands right now, rosters change almost every year, that this is it, this is the last of everything?
I haven't really thought too much about that yet. I've been enjoying this time with you guys, with my team, and I'll sit back after the game and you'll think about that stuff a little bit more, but right now we got a job to do and we're focused on it just like every other week.
Talking with Brandon Graham, you can kind of tell he's thinking about it. He's hinted that this might be it. He mentioned the team meeting Saturday night, what he's going to say to you guys. Said he's taken some notes already. What are your expectations for his message?
Man, BG, he's been going on his retirement tour. Whether he plays next year, he said that it was going to be his last earlier, and at the start of the season, you could tell that he's feeling it. He's emotional. He gives his team breakdowns, and before when they used to be 30 seconds, they're probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes now. He gets to rambling about how much he loves us, how much we got one job to do, how we're going to get it done, and he's been saying that ever since when he was still injured, before he even knew he could come back. But I think all of us are super happy that we were able to get this far, to give him a chance for all the hard work that he put in trying to get over this injury, to have the opportunity to play one more game.
So you're saying the speech is going to be like 20 minutes Saturday night?
Yeah, I'll set a timer and let you know for sure, but I'm sure it's going to be a really good one. I'm sure he might shed a tear or two, but that's just the guy he is.
Man that leads through words, but also a man who leads through action. If he says he's going to be there, says he's going to do something, he's going to be there and he's going to do it. I couldn't care what other people think. They're not in the building. They're not in the building, I couldn't care what you think.
And just one last one. Obviously, you came through the IPP. A lot of other athletes that are going to be doing that over the next few weeks, months, integral to potentially their whole future. Do you have any words for them?
Man, don't give up. It's hard, but you love it. It's all part of the journey. And, I mean, I've said this the last couple of days. There's going to be a wall that you hit, a hurdle that you have to jump over, and adversity you have to overcome. And I think that program is equipped for you to deal with those adversities. And you just got to put your head down and work. It's easy to get, overwhelmed by it. It's easy. But I think what they have to realize is that they're in a privileged position. Because there are, how many U.S. college kids are there? Does anyone know how many U.S. college kids there are? Or on football teams? There's probably hundreds of thousands, right? 800,000? See, there's 800 college teams that, guys who are trying to make the NFL. You're taking a spot away from them, and that's what you have to realize, that you're in a privileged position. You've taken a shortcut, and you've bypassed, college, and now you have a position of privilege, and you need to take full advantage of that. Not for yourself, but for the guys who grew up playing the sport, man. I mean, I have to remind myself of that.
I mentioned a little bit earlier that you could be considered a figurehead down in Australia, but in the IPP, you could be considered a figurehead for that as well.
I love that place. I love that program, man. That's where I came from, and if I had a college, that'd be it. So.
Is the night before a Super Bowl compared to the night before a regular game? How different does it feel?
I mean, the only thing that's different is just now I'm just sitting at the table instead of my locker. Taking the questions. We try and keep it the same, and that's the beauty of the culture here and how Nick Sirianni has laid out the program. Is trying to get as close to game day, a regular game day, or pre-game day, that during the season than we could this week, and so. I think, other than walking 2 miles to get to my room and 2 miles back to get some lunch and dinner, that's the only difference.
Talked about the Saturday night before the last Super Bowl, about how he kind of had an open mic and let everybody talk, and it turned into a pretty emotional night. What do you remember about that? Are you expecting the same?
Expecting the same. And I just remember seeing our leaders at the time show emotion. State their reasons why, remind us of our reasons why, remind us of who we are as a unit. It's a total team sport, and you need everyone. And I think that was probably one of the most memorable nights of my career.
Leader on this team since then. Do you think you'll speak on Saturday?
I might say a couple words. We'll see.
What's your routine? Are you superstitious?
No, I'm just going to let it fly. I might cry. We'll see.
Covered the Rams for the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah.
The Rams they announced they're going to be playing in Australia in 2026. What do you think of that? The NFL going to Australia, and any advice for Rams fans that might want to travel for that game?
The Rams fans don't have much to travel from. Just across the pond. It's only 14 and a half hours, so they got lucky there. But as in terms of a game going down under, I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy about that. I think, I'm gutted that it's not the Eagles. I'm gutted. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gutted. That would have been cool. But at the same time, I understand that you want your game's best teams and best players to go down there and expand the game, or get more eyes on the game, and so totally get it.
Been in that stadium for other events?
I've been to Melbourne, but I've never been to the MCG. That's a historic stadium right there that I've never gone to, sadly.
The Eagles, I know, have a big following down there as well with you playing. Would you like to one day?
Well, believe it or not, because the Eagles on the East Coast of America, all we have probably the three major teams down under probably be, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Dallas Cowboys, the LA Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers are the three big teams back home. Now there's been a sudden surge of Philadelphia Eagles fans, but in all honesty, those are the three teams that kind of dominate the market down there.
Well, thanks very much. Good luck.
Jordan, who do you credit as the biggest positive influence in making the leap from rugby to the NFL to be arguably one of the best tackles in the league?
Thank you. Would you say the first part of your question?
Who do you credit as being the biggest influence?
Got it. The biggest influence for me to transition, or just my transition and my...
That's on you.
I'd probably say Coach Stout. I mean, if we're talking just like football-wise, I think my offensive line coach, he's been very encouraging since the day I've gotten into that building. Well, ever since the day I met him down in Florida. But also, he's been, I can't say that. He's been on, he's been on me. He's been very hard on me since the day I got there. And I think, you know, when I look back at my journey and how far I've come, I can only say that, you know, we have this 50-50 relationship, and I just have to meet him halfway because, you know, he's there waiting for me. And I think I attribute all my success to him, and that's really it. I mean, I played rugby league before and didn't really know much, and that guy's just turned me into a football player. So, well, I'm all right. Thank you. I'm all right. Thank you. Yeah.
How much does that help when you get to this stage of how much everybody's kind of looking out for each other?
I think it's just the general care, the care of the guy next to you, or the care of a guy that plays on the other side of the line in the same team as you. I think those relationships off field, you go the extra mile for them. They translate on the field because you want to go the extra mile because you know them personally. You've spent, and when you're on the field, especially during training camp or those long bits of adversity that you face during the season, whether it be longer days in the building or even, you know, bad execution on plays, even in a win. You know, the guy next to you is the only guy who understands what you're going through, or the guys in that locker room do, because they're there. They understand your pain, they understand your grind, and they understand your journey. So.
Get into your mind a little bit. What's that feeling like? Half hour before the game, you're in uniform, getting ready to take the field. Is it anxiety, butterflies, excitement?
Half an hour before the game, trying to translate where that would be. I think we're doing a team warm-up. Well, we would have just come back in from a team warm-up.
Anytime before, as you're like getting real close.
I have a big routine that I do to lock in for a game, so that's 30 minutes to go to the game. I answer it like this. 30 minutes to go to the game, I'm pumped up. I just want to get out there. So. That camera right there. Oh, I can't swear. I'm not swearing. Hey, man, appreciate all the support. We know the Eagles everywhere is going to be out here, and super excited to bring this home. But we got one more game. Got to do our job, and we got to execute. So go Birds, and appreciate all the love. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Beaver Tails. Beaver Tails. Thank you.
Yeah.
Joe Appel's getting
enough cable, right? To go behind.
Here real quick.
So when I was a young boy coming up through the ranks, I thought Joe Appella was a well, I can't say that word, but you know, as a young guy, I was like, man, I don't like this guy. But as I started to grow in my role in the team and as a man, I grew closer to Joe, and I think he's one of the best people in the organization. Just from, again, his care, the way he attacks his job, and then, I don't know if you know, but he's extremely witty and funny. He is extremely witty and funny, and I guess when you keep it lighthearted, and you know, especially as long as we've been together, it makes it easier to come to work every day, knowing that someone like Joe's going to be there for you. So thank you. Yeah, walk and talk. When he talks the talk, he walks the walk. That's how I describe it. He does a lot of talking, but he backs it up through action.
Do you ever actually walk and talk with him?
Always. I have a great relationship with Nick. I have a great relationship with Nick. So I'm always in his office, sitting on the couch, just lounging around, treated like it's my my home. So it's great. I'm great.
What's it mean to you to finally have the official announcement?
Mm-hmm.
The NFL going back to
Oh, super exciting. Super exciting to have that finally confirmed. Thank you, Uncle Roger. Appreciate it. I think it would be a great opportunity for the game's best teams to go down there and showcase what the game is about and grow the game down there. So.
Yeah.
I hope a lot. I hope we can grow the game. So I would love to see more Australians in the league playing different positions. So I hope a lot. Oh, man. I mean, I attribute all my success to Coach Stout. I think he's the best coach I've ever had in my life. And that's, hard to say when, in my head, my dad's the best coach I've ever had. So, to say that Jeff Stout's the best coach I ever had in my life is huge. But, I can't be as great as I am without him. So, he means a lot. Thank you. Man, I'll tell you what, man, I pulled that one out the backside. I don't know where, in the heat of the moment, that just came out. That just came out. Oh, yes. I'm a big fan. Big fan of Bane. Oh, man. I feel like I'm like a one-trick pony. One-trick pony now. Okay, I will try. I can't do it now. I'm scared. I got stage fright. I got stage fright. I can't do it. Which line would you like? No, I'm scared now. I'm scared. All right. I was wondering. Okay, here we go. Oh, they can hear it. I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body. That's all I got for you. That'll be $15, mate, because that's about the third time I've done it tonight.
Are you on Cameo?
Cameo.
Jordan, last time I talked to you, we were kicking off the season in Brazil. How would you describe this one so far?
Pretty crazy that we're back here. I think, especially when I look back to week one, we were playing in Brazil. I just think it's such a long season, and that it took everyone to get here. It took everyone because we faced some adversity during the season, and it literally took everybody from our backups, the next man up mentality to get here. So,
Talk about some of that adversity.
I think injuries, every team goes through that, but I think we've done a great job of load management, making sure guys come back fresher, guys are available the next week, because the best ability is availability, as everybody knows. And, as in terms of just facing, I guess, the outside noise kind of adversity, that's been a constant exercise that we're preaching in that locker room, block it all out, physically doing it, mentally doing it, and so that's what I think of when I think of adversity.
One of my favorite quotes yesterday was with your coach, Jeff Stoutland. He said, 2 of the best decisions in my life, marrying my wife, and do you know what the next one was?
Coaching out the Eagles?
No, it was going to your practice when Howie Roseman called him. He was getting ready to go on a flight with his childhood friends, and he said, I can't do it, but he said he went. And he said he remembered just you flying through the drills. Here's a guy who hadn't even put his hand in the dirt.
Did he tell you how I conned him into thinking I had the greatest recall of all time?
No, tell me about that.
He taught me a basic 6-man protection the night before the workout, and he rubbed it up. He wrote it on the grease board and rubbed it out, and he was like, he's like, take a picture with your brain. So I took a picture of my brain. And then he rubbed everything out, and he's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. You better remember all this, because you're going to teach it to me tomorrow. So walking back down to the car, say goodbye to him. I run back up to that classroom, and because of the light angle and because of the grease board, you can still see everything. So I traced everything out, and I actually took a picture on my phone, went home that night, studied everything. The next day in the classroom, told it back to him. He's like, I want you to teach me, at the time it was called 2 and 3 jet. He goes, I want you to teach me 2 jet. And I was like, I'll do you one better. I'll teach you 3 jet. And I did that, and the guy.
See, this is why offensive linemen are the smartest. You've got to work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
When you look at your journey, drafted in 2018, 23rd overall, spent those first couple seasons learning the position, and now you're poised to not only go to your second Super Bowl, but potentially be the first Australian to ever win a Super Bowl ring. Have you thought about the gravity of that?
Well, I was told that I would be the second Australian to win the Super Bowl. I think the first is Jesse Williams. Could be wrong. Jesse Williams went to Alabama, was born and raised in Australia, went to Alabama, was drafted to the Seattle Seahawks. I believe he has the first ring.
Was he a starter in that? Jesse?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. But, I mean, that opportunity, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 10, I think it'd just be pretty special, just from a personal accomplishment or achievement standpoint. So,
what's it like when you go back to Australia and you represent the NFL? Do you have a rock star status there? I mean, aside from your album.
I just see it as going home. I don't put myself above anybody. I just see it as going home and somewhere that I'm used to and where I'm from, and I can eat my favorite foods there. So, yeah.
Last question for you. The tush push comes up all the time. Nick Sirianni just told us he doesn't want to see it go away, but he said other teams have tried to replicate it, but it doesn't work. It has a lot to do with what you do, Jalen does, Cam Jurgen. What makes that play so special, and how much work do you guys actually put into practicing it?
I think that the coaching and the detail is what separates us, and then also the players that we have up front and in the backfield. When we talk about the execution and where we should fit and where it should hit, and then we actually walk through it. So just on air, that's pretty much it. That's the difference.
Well, it works. Other teams have tried to duplicate it and haven't been successful. Thank you so much for your time. Good to see you.
Brett's probably one of my favorite people on this team. I think when you look at, if you want to talk about people who are underrated on this team, he's one of them. His attention to detail, his want to know about the game plan. He's so smart. I mean, the guy can talk about football all day. I keep telling him that he should be a coach. I said, man, screw playing, man. When you're done, you're going to be a great coach, because he's so smart. Just when it comes to reading defenses, knowing the scheme, knowing the tendencies of that defense. He's a true asset to this team, especially in our O-line room.
Against the Commanders last week or whenever that was now, who knows, the referee reminded the Commanders that during the tush push at the goal line, so that they could be called for, they could reward a score for a probably unfair act.
Yeah.
Did you know that was in the rule book? Did you know that was a possibility that could happen?
I mean, I did kind of know it. I didn't know the specifics of what would entice a referee, not entice, but I guess elicit the call from the referee. I know it's been around since the 40s. And there's been incidents. I don't know if the NFL or been it probably hasn't, but you see guys run off a bench and tackle a guy that's breaking for a touchdown. That would elicit a call to reward a touchdown. So I knew it was there. I didn't know the specifics of what would make them call that, but yeah, I mean, interesting. I mean, it's understandable that. I mean, that would be a thing.
The beauty of that play of the tush push is that even without running the play, you can get a penalty. You can half your yardage every time, even without actually doing, before the snap.
I think you have to look at the situation and understanding that the goal in that situation is to either get the first down or get a touchdown. So whatever helps you to accomplish that goal, whether it's that play or another play. And it seems, I guess, that play has more penalties from whether it's, neutral zone, encroachment, or whatever it may be. But as long as that play still accomplishes the overall goal, I think it's a good play.
Have you watched, I'm sure you studied what the Chiefs defense was able to do with the Bills and their version of the tush push, or their version of the quarterback sneaks in the AFC Championship game. I believe they saw 4 quarterback sneaks. Have you studied what the Chiefs defense did there, and how does that apply to what you guys do?
So I really, a lot of people have asked about the Bills thing. I don't compare what we do to other teams. As long as we go out and execute our job, we usually get the result that we want.
Have you guys studied the officiating crew for this Super Bowl yet? Like, have you gone over who those officials are and what you need to know about them?
What do I need to know about them?
I don't know, like their biographical. I know that teams like present, biographical info, their experience, and maybe like how many flags they've thrown in certain scenarios. Have you guys gone over that?
Yeah, we have. I was just curious what you thought we needed to know.
Yeah,
we've talked about it.
It's a particularly there's some young officials on the crew, historically speaking.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just curious if you were aware of it.
Oh, I mean, I don't really look at their age. Obviously, they become NFL referees for a reason. They're good at their job, and a lot of times, you trust what the referees do. They're throwing flags and everything based on what they see, and I'm not here to argue with anything. Everybody's got a version of their story, so I may think I didn't do something, they may think I did. They're going to throw the flag, and that's the flag. So,
Landon, I was just hoping you could tell me a little bit about Nick Sirianni as a man.
What specifically about him? He's a man.
He is a man. What do you take from him as a man, as a coach?
Yeah, I think as a coach, he does a great job of educating guys when it comes to situations and football IQ. And I don't think in the 4 years I've been here there isn't a situation that we haven't gone over where we wouldn't know what to do, and that's a big part of what he does as a coach is making sure that there's going to be weird things that happen every year. You see it all the time, whether it's in the game, clocking the ball, substitutions for offense to field goals. There's been a lot of instances that you'll see in the NFL, and I think Coach does a great job of educating and talking us through and making sure that if we get in these situations, we know exactly what to do.
And was there a moment, maybe in pre-season training on the field, that you realized this Saquon Barkley guy is going to be quite good for us?
I realized that back in OTAs in the spring. I mean, the first time that he came and practiced with us, just watching him move and the way he's able to cut and run.
Was there a specific moment, or is it just the whole time?
I mean, just watching him practice.
Saquon Barkley just told us that he's actually never played the Chiefs before in his career, and he said it's a challenge because he doesn't know what this Chiefs defense is going to bring, but the element of surprise of Saquon Barkley, how much is that an advantage for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be a big advantage. Obviously, Kansas City has a lot of veteran coaches when it comes to Andy and Spags, a lot of veteran guys on the defense, Chris Jones, guys in their secondary. And, overall, a really complete defense and a really smart team overall. They wouldn't be where they're at today without that. So, I'm sure they've done their due diligence when it comes to, studying Saquon and, other similar running backs in the NFL. And, I think it's always interesting to see a first-time matchup with players or teams overall. And, again, I mean, this 2024 Eagles have never played the 2024 Chiefs. So this is a first-time matchup for all of us.
And Jordan was telling us, kind of joking, that Saquon Barkley blows up your guys' offensive line group chat, that he's always coming with ideas, especially on Friday night. Are you expecting the same this week?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Saquon does a tremendous job of making sure that all of us are kind of on the same page and talking through and understanding, from his perspective, what does he see as a running back, and what are we seeing as an offensive line? What plays does he like? What plays do we like? And making sure that when we go out there that, when we run a play, we know where he wants to kind of push the ball to, and that we can kind of block around that versus, going out there, things are going to change mid-game, and we may make those adjustments to say, hey, this ball needs to, go back farther, get pushed more front side. And, he does a great job of saying, I think it should go here, it's wide open. And we go, we didn't really see that, but all right.
Those are some really long texts then, yes?
I mean, we make them pretty quick and efficient, so it's talking it out through here makes it sound a lot worse than it actually is, because I don't use our words and terminologies in interviews.
Not as formal?
So, well, no, if I use those words, the Chiefs would know what they mean, so why would we do that?
We don't want that.
Exactly.
Well, Brandon Graham was just telling us, he's been hinting this could be it, but I know he's been saying that for a good bit about his career and the retirement tour, but he talked about the team meeting on Saturday. He said he took some notes of what he's going to say to you guys. What are your expectations for that epic speech, I'm sure?
I mean, I hope it's not his last time. I mean, BG has been such a great thing, not only for, his teammates, his team, but the city of Philadelphia, and being such a tenured guy. And, the mentality that he brings and the mindset every day. I mean, I haven't seen the dude have a bad day in 4 years. So, I mean, he's always a happy dude, always brings good energy, always trying to help out anybody he can. And, you know, he's a guy that serves a huge role on this team, even in these past weeks when he hasn't been practicing. He's always in the building, every meeting, you know, doing everything he can to help this team out. So, you know, I hope this isn't his last one. And, you know, physically, I don't think it has to be his last one. But, again, I got a lot of appreciation for BG and what he's done. And, you know, I hope that, you know, we can go out there Sunday and, you know, end it on a good note if it is his last one.
Great point. He said everyone who say that records are meant to be broken don't have a record, and that's the truth. So I can understand why he wouldn't want his record to be broken, but I think it was pretty cool for him to, you know, go out his way, pick up the phone and call me and have that conversation, and it went a long way for me.
Talking about the game on Sunday, what would be the keys for you to game against the team?
Got to adjust. You know, every time we go against the team, I am aware that me and the offensive line is a focal point of stopping. So take what they give me, and when opportunities come, make them pay for it. Yeah, I'm happy for him, man. You know, he don't get talked about or mentioned enough. Everyone talked bad on him when he's in New York, and he's facing adversities and battles and injuries, and to come here and switch positions, he never complained. He just put his head down and went to work, and now everyone's able to see how great of a player he is and all the things he means to our offensive line. And, you know, you can go to the one run that comes to mind, have a long run against the Rams before it started snowing. And he made a key block, and he just moving guys out the way. So really happy for him, and I'm happy to be part of his journey.
And Saquon, you talked to Slay on his podcast this week. You've actually never played the Chiefs before. What challenges does that bring, but also the surprise that they don't know you either?
Yeah, I think it does help that they never went against me either. But the challenges, man, as you watch film, you can see why they're so good. You can see why they're two-time defending champs and why their defense is ranked high every year. We know it's going to be a challenge. It's Spags. You never know with him. He brings all type of defenses, all type of blitzes. So definitely got to lock in and really focus on our details. But at the end of the day, I think it always going to come down to adjustments. So that's the thing we got to focus on.
And you talk to us a lot this season. It seems like you really do your research. When you don't know something, you call someone in the league about it. Have you called anyone about this Chiefs team? Any tips on how to handle them?
I haven't actually. That's a good point, though. I probably should pick up the phone and call because I definitely got some guys who went against him. But I definitely will reach out to some of the guys that I've been talking to all year that played in these games and try to get their feedback.
And you've talked to us a lot as well about the offensive line, how much you've left on them this season. Have you blown up the group chat at all this week about what they're seeing?
We don't have to. We're all together in this hotel. That's the beauty of this thing is obviously we got the media obligations and you got to do this and do that. But you know, a lot of our downtime is all spent together, whether we're in that players' lounge playing ping pong or eating lunch or dinner. And usually I do that text after Friday, see what they're liking, and feed it to Kelly.
And I know you talked about not knowing what to expect for this week. What's been the coolest part so far about this Super Bowl experience?
I would say all this. I think you're able to help your platform grow, but you're able to help the brand, the NFL brand, grow internationally and having conversations with people from Spain, Mexico, Canada. I think that's pretty cool, and I'm happy to be part of it.
You go back to a couple years ago, your first Super Bowl that you played in. What would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? Focus on the game. Yeah, solely on the game.
What did you learn from that experience?
To only focus on the game. Yeah. This is cool, but the game is the only thing that's important.
What are you trying to take from what you learned to come into this Sunday? Kind of just what's been your focus for this week?
Just doing what I have to do, just getting through it. Keeping my emotions intact. Because none of this matters. It's about performing well and being ready to play.
Hey AJ, I cover the Patriots, and Mike Vrabel mentioned that he still has a close relationship with you.
Yeah.
How would you describe his coaching coaching style? What should the players in New England expect?
I don't know. I heard he changed up his coaching style a little bit. Yeah,
really?
yeah. I can't say he's a great coach, and he's very disciplined, which we all need, for this game. But I don't know. He changed it up a lot, so I heard.
What stands out to you about your time together in Tennessee? Yeah.
I was prepared, most importantly, for any situation. He did a great job of teaching us the game and, the relationship.
Why is he so good at building relationships with players? That seems to be something he prioritizes.
I don't know. I think I think he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and then I think he just connects well with guys and on a different level and who played the game. He's played the game before, so he knows. He knows what we're dealing with, and he done it at a high level too. So, so.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how locked in is your quarterback this week?
I'm gonna say 10 every week. He's always locked in.
What do you appreciate most about him?
To be honest, everything. He's always cool, calm, and collected. Never fazed by anything. So.
If he wins the Super Bowl on Sunday, how do you think that will change his narrative?
I don't know. I don't know what narrative he has. So.
He hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Okay, then. So he'll be a quarterback who won a Super Bowl. Yeah.
AJ, how about Kellen Moore? You had him this year. Just the changes in the offense this year and how maybe you're emphasized in this offense in ways maybe you weren't previously.
I was heavily involved in the pass offenses and this offense too. So we just do a really good job of running the ball. So that's just what it is.
What about so much attention being on Saquon this week? How big of a game can you have, especially with all the attention there? Can it be even a bigger thing for you?
That's something that we prepare for every week. Regardless of we're gonna try to run the ball. Because that's our DNA. And our job is to be ready. And make the opportunities. Make sure we make the plays when opportunities come. So.
You had mentioned earlier that in the beginning of the playoffs you were dealing with an injury. How healthy are you? Is this the best you've felt all year?
I'm ready to go. That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Maybe the Chiefs can put their best cornerback McDuffie on the second receiver. Expect a lot of brackets or one-on-one?
I don't know. We'll see. They do a lot of different things on the back end, and so we'll see.
AJ, you've been with the Eagles for 3 years now, so you've lived in the Philadelphia area for 3 years.
Yeah.
What have you come to love about the city of Philadelphia?
Very passionate. Literally, yesterday I was waiting on my food outside the hotel. Somebody yelled my name, was like, AJ, lock in. I'm like, all right. But I appreciate that because, they wear their emotions on their sleeves when it comes to this game. If we win or lose, it goes basically how their day gonna go, for the rest of the week, on a regular basis, and they just want to win, and we do too. So, so.
When the Super Bowl so close to where you grew up and where you made your name, talk to me about what Mississippi meant to you, and then what you learned at Ole Miss and how it prepared you for this moment.
It's where I'm from. Mississippi is where I'm from. It's a state where, it's overlooked. You really got to grind for what you want. Probably don't have that many resources, but it's not too far from home, and it's not about where I'm from or how close it is where I'm from, but, it's just about making plays on Sunday,
What did Ole Miss do to, prepare you for this moment? Ole Miss, what did they do to prepare you for this?
I think every moment of my journey prepared me for this moment, as I got in college. I think those moments in college prepared me for moments like these. We didn't go to a bowl game or anything, but I think every step of my journey, it prepares me for Sunday.
AJ, it's an exciting week for a lot of you guys. How does it make you feel to see a fellow competitor, Deebo Samuel, out here rocking your jersey to show you support?
That's my dog, man. I talked to Deebo last night, and there's always love between me and him. And I know the Eagle fans gave him a hard time, but it's always love, man. We've been locked in for a long time, and we always support each other. So, it's bigger than football with us.
How do you and Devonta complement each other? You and Devonta, how do you complement each other on the field?
I think, no, I'm laughing at the crew. Both of us do things really well. We two different receivers. He's very slippery, run routes really well. So do I. We like to make plays, and we try to a lot. So.
AJ, Taylor Lewan, busting with the boys. Congrats on all of your success.
Thank you.
Quick question about your past. Are there any players from the Tennessee Titans that you miss playing with? You miss being around. Maybe playing in their basement, hanging out with you and your brother.
I miss the room. Yeah.
Do you have a new hotel room crew?
No, I don't have a new hotel room. No, it's the one and only. Yeah.
All right. Congrats, brother.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I miss you. I love you.
I love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. We'll see. Yep. We'll see.
How different is it the night before a Super Bowl than any other game? Like, does it feel different? How do you handle that?
No, it doesn't really feel too different. The magnitude of the game, but it doesn't really feel too different, and I try to continue to do what I do on a regular basis.
Nick talked about the night before the last Super Bowl when he had an open mic where everybody could talk, and Jalen mentioned Kelsey kind of stole the show a little bit, but they said there was a lot of emotion that night. Was that important? Are you expecting that again?
I don't know. I don't know what Nick's planning to do, but I think that night was it was special. It was a special night. Guys got up and talked and shared what's on their heart.
How exciting is it knowing that this is the last time that you have to talk to us until after the game? There's no more media and everything. It's got to be at least a relief, right?
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, because it's just I'll be getting to football, more and more football.
When you're in the biggest stage, it's the biggest game. How do you let the play come to you instead of trying to force something? You know what I'm saying?
Just stay locked in, play by play. Regardless of if it's a run or a pass, you just win your one-on-one, and that's blocking or that's your route. Just win your one-on-one.
Well, Coach, a lot has been made this week about trying to remove distractions, keep the main thing, to quote Jalen Hurts. How have you seen this team do that and treat this truly like a business trip?
I think they've done a great job. I think that Coach Nick is constantly focus, refocus. We had a great practice yesterday. We had great meetings. We're getting ready to do the same thing again today.
And Saquon Barkley was just telling us how this is actually his first time facing the Chiefs. He talked about the challenges of going against this Chiefs defense, but what advantage is that they don't know him either?
We've played them quite a few times, but never with Saquon. So it'll be new for them to see him. And the more and more you play somebody, you become familiar with what they do.
Right. But this coaching staff with the Chiefs and the knowledge that they have and the experience that they have, how hard do you think they're working to stop a guy like Saquon?
It's the same. Doesn't matter whether he would be here or not. They would be doing the same type of work and amount of work.
Right. Brandon Graham was just telling us, I know he's known for his speeches. Dallas Goedert told me they're getting longer and longer as the weeks go on. He talked about Saturday's meeting, that this could be it. What are your expectations for what he's going to tell the team Saturday night?
Well, my expectations are they're the same as they always are, because he's passionate. He's always been passionate, and he will always be passionate. So I know that message is going to be dynamite.
Love it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.